Check us out on the web at NBCSportsRadio.com or download the NBC Sports Radio app for your mobile device and take us wherever you go 24/7. For the latest breaking news in sports, you'll find it all right here on NBC Sports Radio, because every day is game day.
NBC Sports Radio and NBCSportsRadio.com. This is Speaking of Sports. Thanks for dialing us up. This is where we like to kick the box score aside and look at some other things go on in the sports world, like the business of sports. That's why we have the Professor Rick Horrow going to join us now and talk some of the dollars and cents going on in the sports world. Probably more dollars than cents, especially coming from my end, right, Rick?
Yeah, cents for you, dollars for the rest of us. And by the way, you put Black Friday and Cyber Monday together, and they're only about 20% higher than Super Bowl week as far as sports merchandising is concerned. Wow. And the other little fact is that the Americans eat more calories on Thanksgiving Day than any other day, except pretty close, Super Bowl Sunday. So, but I think, do we eat healthier Super Bowl Sunday, or do we eat because of the guacamole and everything not healthier? It's one of those things we can ponder, and nobody cares.
Yeah, no, I'm going with the guacamole, and I care a lot about that. So, but you're talking to a guy from California, so there you go. Let's talk NBA basketball. Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors are breaking records on the court, but it looks like they're going to really be turning their fans on with some advanced viewership, right?
Yeah, well, the CSN Bay Area had a record for a Tuesday night game against the Raptors, and then TNT had a record for a Thursday night game against the Clippers. You know, both interesting, but not draws themselves. And this machine keeps going. You know, kudos to Joe Lacob. He was a piece of the Celtics, and then he and Peter Guber got together and turned this into a machine. What's going to happen now, by the way, is not only people watching it, but you have the new arena that's being done in San Francisco. Politics are always difficult with an arena. It doesn't hurt when your team's not going to lose a game for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of way it's looking right now. I mean, they're halfway to that NBA record win streak already. Now, let's stay with the NBA. Kristaps Porzingis. Listen, we knew this guy was an interesting pick in the beginning, 7'3" Euro, but he's turned out to be just absolutely amazing on the court. And you've absolutely already got people in New York City thinking, "Hey, how do we spin the money machine on this guy?" They figured it out, haven't they?
Well, they did on Black Friday. We don't know the exact sales yet, but the sales over 3 days last week equaled all sales from the full week prior for the number 6 Latvians jersey with the Knicks. You know, if the shirt rubs off on everybody else, and maybe Melo starts playing defense, maybe the Knicks as a team may get better. But you know, that's not as important. This is like when Sanity was before he effectively slammed out in Houston. But what it means is New Yorkers love A, their basketball, B, mindless optimism, and C, spending money. And when you combine all of that, it's good for Chris Porzingis, it's good for the Knicks.
Move to a Major League Baseball, where MLB and Fox recently reached an agreement for a 3-year deal to begin in-market streaming for 15 clubs. You know, we've talked about this a bunch on Speaking of Sports with you, Rick, about how more and more of these clubs are going the way of the streaming. This is a pretty big deal here. Big move for the MLB, isn't it?
It's a big deal for those of us who don't want to spend anything but want to watch it on the Internet and want to watch it on iPads. You know, my daughter's home for Thanksgiving, and I offered her some bounty for graduation at Duke, and I rented a TV. And she said, "Not what's a TV?" But she looked at me like, you know, I have 5 eyes. I don't need a TV. I'm watching it on the Internet. And so what everybody is doing is obviously going to maximize reach. And now that corporate people, including ad agencies, are figuring out how to quantify and get the benefits of this kind of advertising, even if it's those mindless pop-ups, then the 15 clubs in Fox's RSN portfolio at the start of the 2016 season is a means to an end. Rob Manfred hopes that all 30 teams will have this streaming within 2 years.
The Professor Rick Horrow is with us. We talk the business of sports, and nothing bigger than the NFL. And so the NHL has taken a page out of their book. As a matter of fact, the NHL has done some really innovative things lately, like the whole 3-on-3. A lot of people are loving that for the overtime thing. But what they've done here is going to be interesting as well. It looks like they're going to adopt the NFL-style bye week, right?
Yeah. You know, Gary Bettman, Bill Bailey, and others, really, you gotta reward their creativity, because some experiments work, some don't, but that's the bottom line. You got to try it, and so they're going to think about bye weeks. They're talking with NBC about scheduling, so everybody will get a bye week to stay healthy, to recover to start marketing again, to push the reset button. The 3-on-3 format for the playoff, the All-Star game, it's going to be weird to follow, but so was the Chase and so were the FedEx Cups originally. And so, the bottom line is you keep tweaking it, and Gary Bettman sees and presides over a league whose revenue increases 20 to 30% a year. You got to love it.
You do got to love it, and we're out of time here once again, but I guess that, and we need to talk about this next week, what they're doing in Detroit for the Red Wings. I want to get on that because what they're building, I've seen some of the film on it. It's beautiful stuff. Rick, thanks for being with us. Always great to talk the business of sports with the Professor Rick Horrow. We'll talk to you next week, brother.
Go eat some turkey. Talk to you next week.
I will have a turkey sandwich. Thank you very much, and maybe some pie, and maybe some chirpumple. Want some chirpumple this weekend? No, you probably don't, actually. More Speaking of Sports next on NBC Sports Radio.